Hello, my name is Kirsty. Welcome to Kirsty Knits and Sews. This is my little podcast where I talk about all the things that I've been making and spinning, knitting, crocheting. I have most of it to share with you today. I live in Poland in Rzeszów with my husband and my 2 kids, and creating things is just one of the ways that I relax and have fun. So thank you so much for joining me. If you are new, welcome. There have been quite a few people who've joined since the 12 cast-ons. So good to have you here. Today we have knitting, crocheting, spinning. I have a giveaway winner to announce. I have stats from January, all the things. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Kirsty Knits and Sews. And that's probably about it. So I am wearing my only finished object from this past couple of weeks, and that is my Heritage Harbour sweater. So this is a pretty new cast on. I started on the 26th of December last year. It was a 12 cast on and day number 1 of 12 cast ons, and I could not wait to get back to it. So let's talk about the yarn first. The yarn is a Polworth, superwash Polworth, dyed by Martin's Lab here in Poland. There we go. And it is Tyrrell DK 225 meters to 100 grams colorway thicket. I've used Martin's Lab before. This is the first time using the Tyrrell DK Polworth. I love it. I went straight online to see if they had any more, and they don't have many colorways as individual skeins. They do have a few sweater kits currently on the website, but they'd also just had a sale. So I decided not to buy any right now, and I will keep an eye out if they have another sale to see if I can snag some more, because I did buy it at the yarn festival in Wrocław last year, and I did get it on sale. So I love the yarn. I will wait and see if they have another sale. But yes, Polworth, first time knitting with Polworth, can recommend. I'm really enjoying it. Or I really enjoyed it, and I'm really enjoying wearing it. So the pattern is Heritage Harbour by Samantha Gurin. Very, very easy pattern to follow, very easy pattern to knit. Obviously it's very addictive. Moorish is probably a better word, because everything is in groups of 4, and so you just like, oh, just knit another 4 rows, or just knit another 4 rows, and it's really easy. I did carry the yarn, so both contrast colours I carried the whole way down, which if I show you on the sleeve maybe is better. So you can see on the inside I've got the yarn being carried down. On the outside, like slightly puckering, but you can barely tell. And it meant that I only had 2 ends to weave in for each sleeve, for each colour on each sleeve, and for the body. Which, if you've been here a while, you know there are a couple of projects that I have that I just haven't woven in the ends for. One of them I actually did weave in the ends and block. That was my Advent dress, and I have it over there in my cupboard. I've even worn it once, but I've already held it up and shown you it not wearing. So I'll probably wear that next time. I just really wanted to wear this time. So I'll show you more of that Advent dress next time. The other one is the, was it Geo Gradient? No. Stephen West Mystery Knit Along for 2024 that I cannot remember the name right now. That is the other one that's just sitting there and waiting to have the ends woven in. I can't even remember the name of that shawl. It's terrible. Anyway, that one had a few more ends to weave in, and I haven't really pulled it out to work on it again. So, all that to say, I don't mind weaving in ends generally, but when I have a lot of ends to weave in at once, sometimes I find it overwhelming. This one I really appreciated not having all the ends to weave in, although carrying the yarn and twisting them around did get a little bit monotonous. That's all right. I love the sweater. It is obviously a drop shoulder. I did 4 inches positive ease, which I think the pattern recommends 4 to 8. I have not done a gauge swatch and I haven't checked gauge to see if my gauge matched, but I'm very happy with how it fits. The one thing I'll say is because it's a drop shoulder and you pick up stitches around here, I kind of wish this wasn't quite in this position. It feels a little bit t-shirty, and if I wear it over a t-shirt, the t-shirt ends at the same point as this sleeve seam. And so it's just not the most comfortable to wear over a t-shirt. I usually wear jumpers over tank tops, so it's not a problem and very comfortable. But yesterday I tried to wear it over a t-shirt and did not like it. Swapped to a tank. So that would be my only thing. If you're wearing it over t-shirts, maybe try and get a little bit more positive ease so that this seam happens a little bit further down. Or the other thing that I think would have made a difference is if I'd knit a little bit more before I joined. Like I joined where the pattern said, but if I'd done an extra inch or something, then I think that would have made a more comfortable sleeve. I probably just would have had to go up a sleeve size. I was playing Yarn Chicken. If you watched day 1 of 12 cast-ons, I'll link the playlist below for 12 cast-ons if you haven't seen it. I just cast on 12 projects between December 26th and January 7th, and I'm working on them throughout the year or until they're done. And it's something that Ange from Yarn and Yarns started. It's a make-along that she does. But yeah, I've just shared picking the projects, casting them on, things like that. But in the Heritage Harbour 12 cast on video, I did share that I was a little bit unsure about how much yarn I had, and that I kind of had the exact amount that the pattern said, or maybe not quite enough, but hoping that there was some leeway in the pattern. I did end up with 50 grams of each colour left. I haven't weighed, but about 50 grams of each colour left. Now, I knew that for the contrast colour, I should have been able to get it out of one, and so having 50 grams of each of them left meant that if I had just got one skein, it would have been very much pushing it. For the main colour, I thought I would have less left than I did. But there you go. Very happy with how it has worked out. In terms of length, I'm wearing sweats today, but in terms of length, it's, I don't even know if you can see that well, it's sitting really on hip height. And again, I just followed the pattern in terms of how much length to do. I didn't try and do any mods. I was concerned with the sleeve, whether it would be too long, and it did seem a little long when I first put it on. But on this side, you can see it better. The bunching that's happening, that means that it ends up at quite a nice sleeve length. Yeah, so yeah, I followed the pattern exactly. Isn't it great when we do that? We don't mod everything. And I think that's one reason why it's done so quickly as well. I started it on the, 26th of December, and I finished it on the 31st of January. So just over a month, but because I wasn't modding it, playing with sizes, making decisions, it just knit itself. It was great. Funny story, I love the colours. I loved picking the colours. As I picked them, I'm like, they're not necessarily the colours I would normally go for, but I was really in a green and brown mood, and I was happy that I got this pop of pink in there as well. The colour, the green is thicket, the pink is petal, and the yellowy colour is, I want to say wheat. I don't think I have that written down here. Yeah. No, I don't. I want to say wheat. I will link project pages below for Ravelry project pages for all these projects, and they will have full information. If there's something missing that you want to know, please ask. But yeah, for this one I did recommended needle sizes, everything like that as well. Anyway, so I wasn't really sure about the colours, and I also spoke about that a little bit on the 12 cast-ons vlog day 1, where I was unsure whether I was going to do just the green and the gold, or whether I was going to bring in the pink or not. Obviously decided to bring in the pink, and that was even before the end of the vlog. I had started the pink, but I was knitting it. My husband was there and one of our friends was there, And I was just like, this is bringing me so much joy knitting this. I love the colours. Every time I picked it up, I'm like, oh, this is so nice. We're playing a game together and I was knitting on this. And finally, my husband looks at me and goes, really? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, those colours, yeah. And I was like, No, it turns out he hated the colours. He thought they were disgusting, which I thought was hilarious because on the vlog, every time I showed this piece, everyone's first comment was, I love those colours. And I just thought it was hilarious. And then our mutual friend was also like, yeah, no, they're pretty gross. I thought it was hilarious. So, no hard feelings to them. They're entitled to their opinion. It was also late at night in not great lighting. And so I think the colours are a little bit more murky than what you can see now. But yeah, he was not a fan. He has since said, since I finished it, because I've asked him a few times, and probably he's still not a huge fan, but I've asked him a few times just straight, and he has said that the colours look better now that it's done. He said that he likes the top on me, so while they're probably still not the colours he would pick, I mean, how do I put this nicely? Because he's okay with me wearing whatever I want. That's not an issue. But he does think that it looks good on me, even if they're not colours that he would pick. And I think our colouring, mine and his, is a little different. So the colours he gravitates towards are not the ones that I wear as much. Anyway, all that to say, I thought it was hilarious that he was just like, really? And I had so much fun knitting this in these colours, partly because they're not colours I would normally necessarily put together in a striped jumper, but I did, and I'm very happy that I did. So there you go, that is the story of the Heritage Harbour. I'm drinking tea. I've got Harney and Sons, I want to say Victorian Folk, but I don't think it is Victorian Folk. Anyway, Harney and Sons tea today. It's a British company, but I found a place in Poland that sells it. Makes me happy. All right. So, in terms of other things that I have been making, I have quite a few things. This is my own... No, I do have another finish. I'm going to call it a finish. 2 finishes, but they're spinning finishes. So, I'm going to do the less exciting one first, because we'll save the exciting one for the second showing. I have papers on these just so that I know what they are, but I had some scrap, and by scrap I mean I had some sock fingering weight singles. Now, I don't tend to like using singles for socks because they just aren't as strong, but I had 3 different types. One was a gradient, in fact, 2 secs. It was sitting there. One is what I used for this shawl. So this gradient colour that has like the black, the grey, the browns. I had some of that left over. Not quite a full skein, but a decent amount, maybe around 50 grams left over of that from this shawl. I've made this shawl twice. It is the Tri-Gradient shawl by Stephen West. I made one for my brother-in-law, and then one for my husband. So this is my husband's one, thus it was sitting right there. But yes, I had leftovers of this gradient colour, which is a singles sock yarn. Can't remember, but I will link the project page below. And when because I've made 2 of these, the first lot that I had left over, I used up and used up and used up. And then I made another one. So I bought 2 more balls, because they're 100 gram balls, and used up 1.5. So I had more left over, and I just sat there and I was like, I'm kind of over this yarn. I've made 2 shawls. I've made used leftovers and things. I don't know what to do with it. But then I had 2 other lots. One was a 20 gram mini that my sister sent me. And one I think I used for socks. I did a 2-colour sock. Like 2 stripes of this colour, 2 stripes of that colour. And so I had a decent amount left over because they were shorties. And it had just sat there. Because I didn't want to do a whole sock out of this because it was singles. Even though it had nylon in it. I didn't want to do a whole sock. And then one day I wanted to spin. I wanted to play. I wanted to play with colour. I wanted to see yarn be made. And I realised that I had these singles, and if I plied the singles up, I would have not singles that I could use for something. And because they're fingering weight, I was like, if I ply them up, then I should get at least a DK, depending on how fluffy they are. And I can do fun things with colour, because they were both, like, they're singles, but they were all gradient singles. They weren't single colour singles. So I did that. I plied them up. So this is the first one, which I'm pretty sure was the leftovers, and I just plied it on itself. So this was the yarn that I used for the sock, and I just plied it on itself. I don't even think I did a bracelet, a plain bracelet. I think I just pulled inside outside of the ball that was there and plied it up, and I love it. I think it is gorgeous. I'm excited to knit this up, and because it's a gradient, I don't know exactly what it'll look like, but I think it'll be beautiful. Then I had, how did I do this? Maybe I started there. Maybe I started with this one. So this one, I think, is mostly the pink mini plied with the brown and grey one. So this will be a beautiful gradient from dark to light and then going through the different pinks. And this one looks like the rest of the grey, but with this skein. So what I may have done is started with the pink and grey. When the pink finished, added in this skein, and when the grey finished, I just plied the rest on itself. So there you go. So I'm not sure whether I'll use them together in a project, like they could go 1, 2, 3. But yeah, just a bit of fun, super easy because it was already spun and I just plied them together. So there you go. I thought that was fun. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it. It definitely looks more worsted weight, like it's definitely looking thicker than DK. I don't think it's into bulky, but very, very, very squishy, light and airy. So yeah, I might use it as colours for like colour work in yoke. I don't know, but pretty. The next one, which I say is the more exciting one, is because I have been working on this for, well, basically since I got my wheel. So 1.5 years, almost 2 years, and I have finished it. It is even, wet finished. So pretty. Oh, so pretty. This is completely hand spun. It is a mixture of merino and Corriedale. I bought it from DHG, which is, I believe, an Italian shop. And I just bought, what did I buy? I think I bought the like deep forest pine green colour in Corriedale, a lot of it, and then a little bit of the like autumnal orange rust colour. There's two. There's a deep one and a more beige one, and it was more the beige one, which is also a Corriedale. And then I got a scrap pack of merino, which had brown, the deeper orange, blue, white, pale green, bright green. And so I just mixed it up, and I kind of did a fractal, but instead of blending it together, or obviously it wasn't dyed in one piece of roving, I just split it up. So I pulled it off, put it in different spots, and then went to each one and split it into 2 or 4, or kept it as one, and then I spun my way through it. It took forever. I actually don't know if I weighed how much this weighs. I weighed it while it was on the bobbins, and taking away what the bobbins were, I think it was around 450, 500 grams. And this is fingering or sport. definitely not a DK. It's still decently squishy, but much heavier because it is completely worsted spun. Yeah, I love it. This I started spinning for a Andrew Murray pattern. What's it called? Weekender? Yeah, I started spinning it for a weekender. I have the pattern for both the DK and the fingering weight version. So I'll probably do the fingering weight version. And I may gauge swatch, but guys, I really don't like gauge swatching. So I'll probably just go for a size that has plenty of positive ease and knit it. And if it's slightly bigger or slightly not as big, that's fine, because I have heaps of yarn here for that. But yeah, so that is that. My goodness. So excited this is done. And I did get this plied up for day 9 of 12 casts on so I could start my next spin. I'm still spinning on that. I didn't bring anything to show you because I haven't even finished a bobbin. But that was my impetus to get this off my spinning wheel. And then I wet blocked it not too much later. I think I blocked this. I finished weaving in ends of my advent dress and blocked that. And then I finished this sweater, wove in the ends and blocked it. All reasonably quickly because I was just in a finishing mood and I wanted things finished and away. Oh, I will say, because this is a gradient and I wasn't sure how to keep track of it, on the ends that I am starting with when I'm knitting, I have put 1 knot in the first lot, 2 knots in the second skein and 3 knots in the third skein, so that I know which order, once I keep them up, which order I need to knit them in, because they will be a continuous gradient through them. I did finish 2 I did finish 2 bobbins before I finished, no, I finished 1 bobbin before I finished the other 2. And so for the other 2, I made a plain bracelet from the bigger one, the one that I had the most left on, and then I plied those 2 together. Because I did that, there will be a quicker gradient change in that skein. So that skein, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe it's this one, and I will use this one for sleeves. It won't be enough for all of the sleeves, but I will use that one for at least some of the sleeves because I know that the gradient will change quicker, which when you're doing a large circumference, it'll change quicker anyway. So for a small circumference to have it change even quicker will mean that the sleeves will more closely mirror the body in terms of how quickly it changes. They won't match, but it will be a similar amount of colour before it goes on to the next one. So I think it's that one, but when I go to cake it up, I will know it because it doesn't have a knot at the beginning. So 1, 2, 3, no knot, if that's the way it is. And that's what I did there. Because I spun it over such a long period of time, it was a little bit inconsistent. My second skein was the shortest one. So the first one I did was the second longest. The second one I did was the shortest, and the last one I did was the longest. And I don't know if that is inconsistency in spinning thickness or if it was inconsistency in how much yarn I actually had to spin, because how much fibre I had to spin, because I didn't weigh the fibre. It was completely ad hoc. So it could have been that, it could have been not. Who knows? Anyway, that's done. I am so tempted to just cast that on. I still have somewhere, downstairs, I still have my 12 cast-ons bowl, and I have so many projects that I still want to start. I'm debating starting a new project each month and doing a vlog for that. It wouldn't be 12 cast-ons because it's not 12 cast-ons anymore, but continuing the style of what I did for 12 cast-ons, in the morning, do a little vlog, open up, share what I've been doing throughout the day and casting on, and then do a wrap in the evening. And I think if I do one a month, then I can still work through those. but I'm not sure whether I want to do completely ad hoc, pick it out of a basket, or whether I want to choose something like, you know, this month I'm going to start this one. I'm not sure. I was thinking I'd do it at the beginning of each month, but the beginning of this month has been a little crazy and I haven't started it yet. So I might just say one a month and call it something. I know Whiskey and Wool does Cast On with me, where whenever she starts a new project, she will do a vlog of starting it. So maybe I'll see if I can even use that name, Cast On with me, because that sounds like fun. But yeah, in the same style of the 12 Cast Ons vlog, because I have so many, I still have, 25 patterns or something there waiting to be started. We'll see. All right, so that is all my finishes. That's what I finished in the last couple of weeks. So, let's do January stats. January stats aren't going to take too long here these days. In January, I finished 4 objects. So I did a muscle bar, my Advent dress, this jumper, and some mittens. So that's what I finished in January. And I used 956 grams. Yes, this jumper weighed more than 50 grams more than my Advent dress, because my Advent dress was fingering weight held with mohair. So even if it was a much larger quantity, it was quite lightweight, which is great for wearing it. So yeah, almost a kilogram of yarn used. February, this is what my February page looks like so far. Haven't finished anything this month yet, but let's talk about what I have been working on. So my January projects that I was working on were my Advent dress, Heritage Harbour, Sweetheart mittens, which all got finished, and my framed sweater. So let's show you that one. I had written down in my book what I will work on next when I finish something, but I didn't want to add in more projects. I liked that as I went on, I had less and less and less to work on. It worked for me. I liked it. Meant that I felt like I was making progress in the month. Anyway, so here is my framed sweater. Let's talk yarn first. Framed is an Andrea Mowry pattern. It was the Rhinebeck sweater for last year, 2024. She did a knit along. I started this with the knit along and stopped when I got to the sleeves. I'm doing it with hand spun. This is 100% Corriedale. I spun it from a bat from the Fibre Shed, which is an Australian mill and supplier. And then this one is Malabrigo Rios in Jello Tigueras. I'm probably not saying that right, but again, project page with information linked down below. And this is what I got. Now, framed is a 3-color one, and this is my 3rd color, which is the same as this one. It's just different dye lot or whatever, and has a lot more brown. So that's my 3rd color, but it's technically the same color. And when I'm knitting color work small circumference, I knit it inside out. So that is the inside out version of framed, but let me turn it in the right way so I can show you what it looks like. I have just started the 2nd sleeve. I did go back and do the collar. So once this sleeve is finished, it's just a matter of tying in ends, weaving in ends, and blocking it. Put that down. I love it. I also do patchwork quilts and things, so the design on this speaks to me. I have changed it a little in that I did one less star for the front than what the pattern says, and I did one more star for the sleeves than what the pattern says. I decided it is designed to be a 3/4 length sleeve, and I decided I wanted it to be a little bit more full length, or at least bracelet length. I don't know how much this is going to grow when I block it, but yeah, I decided to just do that one extra star and see. I haven't woven in all the ends, and I'm doing size 2, which is, I don't remember, I believe it's less positive ease than the pattern recommends, because I'm also playing yarn chicken with this one. Although it doesn't seem like I am. Like, I only, toward the end of this sleeve is when I started my second ball of yarn. But this ball, I believe, has less meterage than the last one. Like, some bits are quite thick, where the other one seemed to be thinner. I'm not sure. I think one of them was a little bit more overspun than the other, and I think this is the thicker one. And so I'm not sure if that's going to have a big effect on length, like if I'm going to end up with one sleeve fatter than the other. But you know what? It's hand spun. It's all fun. I am swapping for the cuff, like the pattern says. So this is what I've got left for the cuff. But this is what I have left for the sleeve. So I'm pretty sure I will be able to get the second sleeve done. So far, I've picked up stitches and done a tiny bit. Yeah, so I did, like I said, I went back and picked up and knit the collar. So it is completely done when I finish this sleeve. I was very excited to finish the first sleeve in January. And I think we were watching Spider-Man Far From Home and No Way Home while I was knitting on this. So that's my memory link for this sweater at the moment. But I thought about keeping it out and keeping on working on it in February, but I thought actually a break would be nice. I have made significant progress on this in January. It is a pretty easy one to do in terms of 2-color color work, and I'm pretty happy with how I've gone with it, but there's other color work things that I want to work on. So I thought I'll put this away and I'll get another color work thing out from, I was going to say retirement, out from the cupboard that I want to work on, but I actually haven't pulled it out yet. I've just put this one away. And the other one is downstairs in the garage, so I need to go grab it out of the garage. Yeah, aside from the mod in terms of how long and short the sleeve and the body is, everything is according to pattern. Recommended needles. Again, playing yarn chicken. That's what we do here. If you find yarn chicken stressful, I apologise. I do find it stressful, but not as stressful as doing a gauge swatch. So there you go. All right, the next thing, I did start that on the 8th of August last year. So when I'm picking my things that I'm working on, I'm trying to pick something that is an older project, something from the 12 cast-ons, and something newer? No, how do I put this? I'm trying to pick something that is easy knitting, something that's a bit more complicated knitting, something that I really just want to work on, and I'm trying to make sure that at least one of them is older than the 12 cast-ons and one is from the 12 cast-ons. Yeah, I think that covers it. So what am I working on this month? I'm working on my Stardew Valley spring socks, which I haven't picked up yet, so I don't have them here to show you. I'm working on the advent dress for my daughter, which I showed last week, but again, I've got the needles out to put them onto the needles, but I haven't done it yet. I am working on my raglan top. So this one was day 10, maybe day 11 of 12 cast-ons. And it is a basic raglan. It doesn't have a pattern. I was using my numbers for the advent dress, and then I wore the advent dress and decided that I wanted to make a few changes to how I'm doing this one. And so I ended up frogging this completely, ripping it back to the beginning 2 days ago, and then recasting on. But I have had meetings and things this week, so I've made quite a bit of progress in the last 2 days. This is the front. So this, oh, here we go. Day 10. I have my little stitch marker from Knit with Sis. Here we go. it came with 1 to 9 and 0, or 0 to 9 I should say. And so I used some different ones for 10 and 11. It is natural leather, knit with Sis, who I will link below as well. And number 9 is sitting here because that is the spinning project. And so I haven't put it on the spinning project yet. Anyway, this is what I have. So I was around there when I frogged it, and I frogged it back and redid it. It was basically, I wanted to change the short row shaping a little bit. I wanted to do an extra row of short row shaping. I wanted to change how, like, the number breakdown between sleeve and body. Yeah, anyway, so I made a few changes. I've been knitting. I'm almost ready. I want to say I'm almost ready to knit split for the sleeves, but no, not quite. I have a little bit more to go. I want to put it onto, now I'm not thinking properly, onto stitch holders and split it for the sleeve, put it on and have a look and see how it's actually sitting, because I'm using quite small needles for this. It is 4mm needles, and I don't know what the circumference is because they're interchangeables, but it's quite small, and so there's no way that I can split that out. The yarn, let's talk yarn. This is Maximu yarns in, I have 2 different colours. I have 3 balls of this and 1 ball of this, and it was just because they didn't have 4 of this, but I'm actually kind of loving the effect. So this one is Art Room Brawl. They're both 100% superwash merino, super, super soft. I love them. This one is Icebreaker, which is more of the minty green. I love the yarn. I love the softness. I love the way that he gets speckling but still keeps a very soft colour. And because I bought this at a yarn show and he only had 3 of the Art Room Brawl, I did pick up the Icebreaker to add in, and you can, I mean, you can't tell. I'm striping every 3rd round with the Icebreaker colourway, and it means that it's regular enough that you get those minty things. All the orange is from Icebreaker. There's no orange in Art Room Brawl, but it's just sporadic enough that it fits in and you can't tell, yeah, that it's particularly different. I'm doing the collars and cuffs completely in the one colour, and I did all the short row shaping in the one colour, so it doesn't, the second colour doesn't start until down here. But because it's, I have 3 of one and 1 of the other, and I'm striping every 3rd row, I figure that gives me 1 full ball to do collars, cuffs. If I run out while I'm going, then I can just continue on with the, without the orange and mint. Yeah. So I love how this is working out. I am basically planning to make a somewhat cropped jumper that is very loose fitting and comfortable that I can put over dresses. That's my aim for this. No pattern, making it up as I go, but loving it. The next one that I have to show you was another 12 customs, and this one I have also made a bit of progress. This one was day 6, so I've got my number 6 there, and this is another Andrea Mowry pattern called the DRK Everyday Cowl. This one I am using Heirloom Merino. Let me pull it out for you. Picked it up in Australia, Heirloom Merino, and hand spun. I love this. If I had more of this, I would probably have turned it into a sweater, but I don't. So I'm going to use what I have to make this cowl. If I have leftovers, I'll probably make some matching fingerless mitts or something. I don't think Andrew Murray has a pattern for this for fingerless mitts, but I can just copy the pattern, that's fine. Or I might not do, this is a garter stitch, so I may just do a stockinette with slip stitch. We'll see. But yeah, loving how it's working out, playing together, everything according to pattern. I'm doing the adult, maybe adult medium. I'm doing the 3rd out of 4 sizes. Yeah, it's a very easy pattern to memorize. It is quite a long row repeat because there's increases and things going on, but not difficult. It just tells you when to start doing things. Yeah. Oh, the handspun is a scrappy roving that I also got from Fibre Art Shed. And so I got 2 scrappy rovings. Inside you can see a more purpley one. One of them was completely this kind of colour. One was mostly that colour with a little bit of purple. And so I just plied them up together. But I had more of the purple one, and so that ended up being plied on itself. So whether or not I get to that, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about this one. I love it. It's not as mindless as, say, the jumper, but I have been able to knit on it and talk without a problem. Knitting on it to read, more of a problem. But knitting and talking is fine with that one. And, alright, I have 3 more to show you. The first is a sock. I haven't done socks for a while, and I am excited. I just wanted to cast on a sock, so I cast on a sock. This yarn is Sheepy's Downtown in colour 416 East Avenue. I picked this up from Makery, which is a shop in Canberra, and I am doing a 2x2 ribbed sock. It'll be shorties. It's only a 50-gram ball, and I only have 1 ball of it, so I will do shorties. And just whenever I change colours, I do, like whenever it starts a new colour, I do a round of plain knit, and that means that the colour changes are quite clean, and you can't even tell. I have this one, which is Yavol Superwash colour 83 366, that I'm using, or going to use, for the toe, no, the heel, maybe the toe. Yeah, no pattern, 64 stitches. I'll do a heel flap and gusset, slip stitch, heel flap and gusset. I guess vanilla socks on Magic Loop by Kay the Crazy Sock Lady, but I'm doing rib the whole sock, so that's probably the closest. Yeah, started that. Haven't been working on it much because I have so many other vanilla knits that I have been doing, like not vanilla, but this jumper was, you know, even a travel knit for quite a while. And the last one, no, sorry, I got that wrong. This is my second last one, is a muscle burra. I showed this in my last episode. The bag is getting a little small. I'm getting close. I measured it, and this changeover will actually be about 50% of the way through. So this side is Grundle Hot Socks colour in, do I have the tag? Yes, Grundle Hot Socks colour. Colourway 416. Again, a 50-gram ball, and so only did half a muscle burra. And the other one that I'm using is Cascade Heritage Superwash Merino Nylon, and it is colour 5735. And I picked this up from Makery as well. There you go. So I still have quite a bit of that one left. It's a 100-gram ball, so I will finish off the hat and then I'll put the rest aside for socks, sock heels and things like that. This is the Musselburgh by Ysolda Teague. It is an extra large, I believe an extra large, the largest size in the pattern. It is for a friend that I'm hoping I can get it finished and given to him. Yeah, I have not been measuring because I'm so consistent when I make these that I've just stopped measuring, and I always do the gauge for 7 stitches per inch. There is a difference in feel between these two. They're both fingering weight, but this one definitely feels like a looser gauge to this at the moment. But in terms of size, like it's not markedly different in terms of size. It just feels a lot looser. Yeah, so there you go. That one is in a little bag that I made. There's a tutorial if you want to make project bags. There's a tutorial down below that I recorded because I make all my bags and people wanted to know how to do it. But this bag is a little bit big for the adult size Musselburgh. I've also got quite a large tape measure down there and a few other things. It's perfect for one skein Musselburghs in like child or adult size, or one skein socks, but for an adult Musselburgh it's getting a bit tight. Alright, the last thing that I have to show you that I have made is in this basket, and it is a blanket. I have pulled out some scrappy blankets again that I've been working on. Oh, I love scrappy blankets. I really wanted to do some crochet, and so I pulled this one out and did some work on it. So let's show you. I love this blanket. The yarn that I'm using is, now I have to remember, I don't keep my blankets in my normal list, but I do have a list of them. So let me go see if I have all the information, which I should have in here. Scrappy blankets. Yes, okay, Winter Glow. It's Hobby Winter Glow is most of the colours in here, and it is getting caught on the basket. It is a singles yarn that has quite a lot of colour change. Also, I could apply this together if I wanted, but it's a single yarn that has quite a lot of colour changes, and it is, I want to say 51% wool, 49% acrylic. So I'm using it for blankets. It's quite light because it is, like, it's so loosely spun, it's quite light for how much it is. And then this is Yarn Art, I believe, Everest, that I picked up in just a local Pasmentaria haberdashery shop here in Poland. And so I was thinking maybe for a jumper, no, actually I was thinking for all of these, I wanted to make the Night Shift Shawl by Andrew Mary. And so I've been trying to find, before I could spin, I was trying to find colours that would work for that shawl. Totally planning to spin it now, but I bought these for that, thinking I can use what I need and then I'll have leftovers. And I started knitting it up and I realised the colours were a bit muted. It just looked a bit dull, but also they were so light that I wasn't getting the drape that I wanted, because I wanted like a heavy shawl, and this was just very light and airy. So not what I wanted for that, but crocheting it is a much, it's still very light, but a denser fabric. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm not doing any particular pattern. I have used the blue for something else. So I think I've now finished the blue. And I've used some of the pink for something else, so I don't have much pink left. But yeah, just chucking it in. It is scrappy, even though it's not all scraps, but it is scrappy. It is a 3mm needle that I'm using. I have a tulip one, and yeah, what can I say? I really enjoy it. I was crocheting it the other day, and it was like, it's not a very big square yet, but it was on my lap, and my lap felt so warm underneath this blanket. The rest of me was a bit cold, and just this square was so warm. So I am excited for finishing it and being able to use it, but that's going to be a while yet. Is there anything else? Oh, the winner of the giveaway. All right, let's do giveaway. I have a little bundle of goodies here. So I have a pair of just little scissors. I have a Notions tin. These are the ones that I use most commonly. And inside I have put some stitch stoppers, some light bulb markers, a little needle, a darning needle. I have, trying not to drop everything, little sock blocker that I made. We have a 3D printer, so I made that one. I have some handmade paper, which you can write letters on, use for craft, whatever. And some yarn that I dyed, which is 25% recycled polymid and 75% merino. So there you go. This is the little prize bundle for whoever wins. And the winner, I will put the photo up here, is Louise Allport 9955. So Louise, if you can contact me on Instagram or on Ravelry and let me know that you were the one who won and give me your information. I just need an address, possibly a phone number, but an address of where I can send you your goodies and I will get that mailed out to you. I'm looking around me. I thought I had something else to share, but I'm pretty sure it was the spinning, and because I did that earlier, it's not here anymore. All right, I think that's it for today then. Thank you so much for joining me. It has been delightful sharing these things with you again, sharing my projects. I'd love to hear what you've been working on, both while watching this, but also just in general. What are you working on at the moment? Thank you so much. Life has been pretty crazy for me, lots of meetings. So I've had lots of vanilla knitting time. I did get out my spinning wheel last night and do a bit of spinning. I did start reading, I started watching When Calls the Heart again because I never finished it. So I started watching at the beginning and I'm back in season 2, I think, which I've seen up to season 5, so completely recapping at the moment. But then I decided to read the books because I love Jenna Oak. I have the books. And I started reading them and I'm like, this is so inconsistent with the movie. Like, it's the name and that it's Northern Canada. Like, what's going on? But then I finished the books. There were originally 4 and then she wrote 2 extra. So I finished the 6. And then I had returned the Canadian West books. And so I started reading them and realised that that is what the TV show is based on. So there are 3 books, When Courage Calls, Where Truth Prevails, and Where Hope Lies, or something like that. And I've only started reading the first one. And there are differences between that and the TV show, but it's much more the actual story. So I thought that was interesting. If you like When Calls the Heart, there you go. There is the original books, and then there's the newer books that were written that came out around the same time as the TV show started. So yeah, been watching through them. And then my husband and I have been watching The Office together, which I have never seen before, but my goodness, it is hilarious. Not a huge fan of Steve Carell in general, in most things, but oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, love it. And it is the American version. I haven't seen the British version. Yeah, so I think that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me know what you're working on down below, both what you've been working on while I've been sharing and you've been watching, or what you're working on in general. If you did the 12 cast-ons, are you still working on them, or have you started more things? If you didn't do the 12 cast-ons, have you been starting new things anyway? Have you been trying to finish whips? Yeah, I would love to hear. I love all things crafty. In my Polish class today, I was talking to my teacher about what I've been making, showed her this sweater that I'm wearing, and then she started talking about candles. I was like, oh yeah, I made candles the other day, and she was just like, what? But yeah, so I made candles the other day, soy candles, just like all the crafty things. So let me know what you've been doing, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.